Welcome back to 843 TV. We're here now with Miss Toni Ferguson. She is a board member and archives chairman for the Daufuskie Island Historical Foundation. It's a mouthful.
How are you? I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us. So we understand that the Daufuskie Island Historical Foundation has a very special event with Rebecca Starr. It's going to be on Wednesday, May 7th at 4:30 at Marshside Mama's, which you have to go there on Daufuskie if you've never been thus far. So tell everybody, who is Rebecca Starr?
Rebecca Starr is from South Carolina. She is an historian. She was hired by the South Carolina Coastal Council in the 1980s to research and record the history of Daufuskie Island for a nomination to the National Register of Historic Places. And this was the first time that one was ever considered for a full district rather than an individual property. And so she had to do a lot more research than one would normally do. The nomination was accepted, and Daufuskie Island, the entire island, is on the National Historic Register.
Really?
And
I didn't realize the whole island was.
It's the whole island, and we were just presented with a lovely historic marker, which is located at the county dock where Marshsides is, last fall by the Hilton Head chapter of the Colonial Dames.
Oh, wow.
So we're very thankful for that.
Now, how did you first learn about Rebecca Starr and what she's done for Daufuskie?
It was a long story. In 2010, a man by the name of Lancey Byrne, who lives on the island, gave a donation to the Historical Foundation. Now, his mother was Billy Byrne, and she wrote the definitive history of Daufuskie Island. Her book is called An Island Named Daufuskie. Lancey's donation to the foundation was about, I think, between 30 and 36 cardboard boxes full of research for her book. This is when we decided that it probably would be a good idea to set up an archives for the island, right? So an archives collects, preserves, and makes available to the public any papers, documents, records, anything of historical significance for us that has to do with Daufuskie Island. So we set up a committee and we started going through these cardboard boxes. Now, there are hundreds of papers, and each paper has to be read, and we have to find a home for each piece of paper. And you have to remember that when Billy was doing her research for the book, she didn't have computers. And so she was a prolific letter writer. She would keep copies of every single letter that she wrote, and of course she would keep the replies that she received.
Right.
So we're going through all of this correspondence, and we keep finding the name of Rebecca Starr. And this file with correspondence between Billy and Rebecca just grows and grows. It's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches wide. It's just huge.
Now, how did you actually find Rebecca Starr?
Well, this is coming. Just let me. We realized that she had a lot. She obviously was doing a lot of research for the book, in addition to writing the nomination for the Historic Register. So, what do you think I did to find her? What's your first thought? I Googled her. Right.
I think that Google's answer to every question. Right. Let's start with Google and go from there.
Yeah. That was plan A. But there are a lot of Rebecca Starrs in the world today, and they're all on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I am not on those sites. So I decided, no, that wasn't going to work. Plan B, I gave all the background information that I had to my daughter and said, see what you can do. And she actually found an article in the newspaper that referred to an historian from South Carolina, Rebecca Starr, who was teaching early American history at the University of Gloucestershire in England.
Wow. Oh, wow.
She contacted the university, but Rebecca had retired by then, and so they wouldn't give her any personal information. So that was the end of Plan B. I really didn't have a Plan C. We kept going through the papers until one day a volunteer said, Toni, I think our prayers have been answered. There was a personal email from Rebecca to Billy. I don't remember the date of the letter, but I said I can't, nothing to lose. I sent off an email that night, and we had a reply within the week.
How wonderful.
That's neat. And she sort of found you too.
It was the Rebecca Starr, and she was amenable to coming and talking to us, so we were thrilled.
So she's going to be coming and giving a speech, right?
She is.
Tell us what you hope that she'll cover and kind of share with the residents there.
Well, I certainly hope she talks about the the research for the National Historic Register. I think that would be fascinating to learn what they have to prove in order to get a site listed on the registry. She told me that she had a lot of fond memories of Billy Byrne, and that she had a lot of stories to tell, and I'm sure the Daufuskians would love to hear about that. She also received a master's from the University of South Carolina, and her thesis was entitled A Place Called Daufuskie, Island Bridge to Georgia, 1520 to 1830.
Wow.
So she could talk about Indians on Daufuskie, she could talk about the colonial era. There were 19 plantations on Daufuskie at one point.
That's amazing.
She could talk about the Revolutionary War period. Any of that would be fascinating. And she also received her doctorate from Oxford. That's how she ended up in England. And she did, her dissertation was on the South Carolina politics that led to secession and the beginnings of the Civil War. So really, anything that
cover
she
the gamut.
Y'all need to keep her there for a while.
I know. I don't think an hour's going to handle it. We may have to invite her back, but I'm really excited.
That's
I'm
great.
sure she'll just be wonderful.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
So to reiterate the particulars of this event, is it open to the general public? It's open to anyone?
It's open island-wide. Anyone, I mean, anybody can come. If you have your own boat, you can obviously tie up there at the county dock. Marshsides is right there. You can walk to it. It starts at 4:30 on Wednesday, May 7th, and we'd love to see you.
Sounds great. And if you haven't been to Marshside Mamas, this is yet another perfect reason to go. You can get great dinner and learn apparently anything and everything you
About
ever want to know about
history.
Daufuskie.
Right.
Well, thank you very much for being with us. If people want to find out more information, they can go to DaufuskieIslandHistoricalFoundation.org. And we'll be right back with another segment of 843 TV.